Hello everyone, and welcome to our 9th day of Advent. With yesterday's video on cookbooks and medieval recipes, I think we're ready to step into the kitchen. But not for anything too complicated. Let's make some historically accurate drinks. Now that's a phrase I didn't think I'll say. One of the pieces of information that comes up the most when researching lifestyle in the Middle Ages is the fact that water was completely unreliable as a day-to-day drink. Contamination of wells or streams was so common that it would be quite the gamble to quench your thirst with a goblet full of plain water. So, what to do? The south could rely on the sun to provide grapes and wine, while the north used cereal to brew ale and beer. However, both of these alcoholic drinks were significantly less strong than today, so they were being given even to young children on occasion. Spiced wine was known from the Roman Empire on, and in the 14th century, the name of Hippocras started to be known all over Europe. Used either as an aperitif to stimulate your appetite at the beginning of a meal, or as a digestif at the end of your feast, this was a recipe that used to vary according to available spices and the quality of the wine. Red was more common for Hippocras, while white wine is sometimes mentioned in French recipes for claret, with slight variations of spices between both. Today I'm making the classic red Hippocras as a moderate aperitif to drink during the 12 days of Christmas. Oh yes, you've guessed it, I'm going full on medieval this year, even after the Advent calendar is done. I chose a light red from the Loire region, fruity and not too alcoholic, and I'm mixing it with some cinnamon, cloves, cardamom and ginger. My mortar and pestle were not available, so I chose to use powdered spices in a tea bag. Now for the sweetness, since I'm not heating it, I'll go for the traditional honey, known as the sugar of the poor during the Middle Ages. But I'm not as generous as they would have been. For a pint of wine, I'm adding just 1 tablespoon of honey. Mix everything and let it macerate overnight. Then strain and serve. Well, frankly, anytime you want, since this was the drink of choice at any time of the day. If you're not a fan of alcohol, this can be done with red grape juice and you won't need to add the honey. My second experiment involves white wine, or apple juice if you prefer, and a herb we're not used to seeing in drinks. I am making sage wine, also known as sauge, one of the remedies of choice for anything from excess phlegm to paralysis, migraines, memory loss, or simply for longevity. The apothecary recipe involves only dried sage and white wine, but there are also more worldly recipes to make the remedy even more enjoyable. I'm making mine by mixing a pint of light white wine, a bit on the sweeter side, yet not quite dessert wine. A Gewürztraminer is just perfect, since it's less heavy on the alcohol. And 2 or 3 leaves of fresh sage, lightly crushed with a rolling pin to get the flavors out quicker. Then 2 thin zests of a lemon, and I leave it in the fridge overnight. This goes very well with any goat's cheese canapés or fruit tarts. I like mine chilled, whereas the Hippocras is better at room temperature, I think. Here you have it. A drink just like Aliénor would have had. You only need a troubadour by your side, and the picture is perfect. Merry Advent!